TRAI's new tariff order comes into effect from December 29th, and how will this impact broadcasters, consumers and distributors? Joining me today from Mumbai is Punit Mishra, CEO Domestic Business for Zee Entertainment. Punit, thank you very much for joining us on Bloomberg Quint. To begin with, let me start off with the structuring that you have done for your channels, because the TRAI final notification came in. So can you just take us through what kind of structuring you have done for your bouquet of channels and at what pricing it has been done?
Thank you, Sajid, for having me here on your show. For us at Zee, one of the things that is most important to us, and that's what we have been driving within the organization for the last few years, is that the consumer is the center of our attention, and the consumer is really the reason for our existence. And in that context, the TRAI pricing order that comes into effect from 29th December is something which really is, it works for us, because what this pricing order does is that it gives the power of choice in the hands of the consumer. Consumers have the liberty to decide what channels or bouquet of channels do they want to watch, and for that price that broadcasters put for it, is it something that is of value to them or not? So the way we see it impacting our business is that what was already a journey we were on, we just have to make sure that we further accelerate that journey of being very focused on our viewers. We have to ensure that they keep loving us and will then be willing to buy our product. Now, the way we have designed our bouquet, which is the question that you were asking, we studied the way consumers consume content. 3 genres account for almost 85% of their daily consumption, which is general entertainment, movies and news. And we at Zee have a very strong bouquet which has all these 3 genres plus the additional genres of lifestyle and music. And that's what we've put in our base bouquet at 45 rupees. What we believe is that with this order, there is going to be a process of selection in the families. As we say, channels ka chunav hoga gharon mein. That's what we are using as a line. And we believe that with this offering, people will choose us, families will choose us, because we are offering them the right bouquet at the right price.
When you say you have multiple genres and you're pricing the base bouquet at 45, does it mean that all those genres combined together as a bouquet comes to the customer at 45, or is there a separate bouquets for maybe entertainment, for news, or for lifestyle, or regional for that matter?
So we have some total of some 68 bouquets that we have created. For example, for each of the language channels, there is a different bouquet that's been created. For consumers who opt for, let's say, viewing English movies and so on, there are separate bouquets. For HD consumers, there are separate bouquets. So we've made sure that from the point of view of an understanding of various segments of consumers, we offer enough bouquets so that it makes the choice easy for viewers. We are aware, however, that actually at the end of it, theoretically, as many homes, that many bouquets will end up, because people are at home level going to choose, right? So that many million bouquets will end up existing independently in terms of every consumer home being an independent bouquet, right?
Yeah.
So what we have tried to do is to combine our powerful channels in simple choices for viewers and priced it such that people will find it convenient and be attractive on pricing.
Is it fair to say that all your channels together now are paid channels in that sense and are part of the bouquet?
So there are some channels which are available on a separate platform, which is the Free Dish platform, where there are some channels, because that's a platform which, from our understanding, is a separate platform, not part of the pricing order. And that's where there are some channels available as free to air. But for all pay platform consumers, all our channels are part of the pay bouquet only.
Okay, I wanted to. The reason I was asking you is that you're going to see some kind of disruption happening for at least a couple of weeks once this tariff order comes into place from December 29th. Do you see some impact in the short term with respect to subscription revenues coming in as consumers start, creating their own bouquets? Every family may not require entire 68 channels or of either Z or maybe similar amount of channels from other competitors like Star or Sony. So they will pick up one channel each to create their own bouquets. In such a scenario, do you see disruption happening with respect to subscription revenues?
The way we look at it is that consumers have already rewarded us by giving us the viewership share that we have. The fact that if 2 years ago we were 15.9 share and today we are 20 plus share means that consumers have already rewarded us by making the choice for us. The way that I would look at it is that if my subscription revenue was 100 rupees 2 years ago, today if my share has gone up to 20%, my subscription revenue should be accelerated on growth. Now with this new tariff regime, the way I look at it is that consumers having the choice, they've already shown that choice by picking us up, by spending their most valuable commodity, which is time, which is what is measured by the rating system. Already they have shown that love for us. So the way we look at it is that the guidance that we have maintained on subscription revenue for us as an organization will continue to be the same. We will deliver on that growth, and that is something that we are very confident of. In the long run, the more viewership share we garner, we would imagine that that should account for more subscription revenue as well.
Are you also providing discounting with respect to a la carte channels, because the tariff order allows for discounting for a la carte on a 90 plus 90 day format? So are you looking at that as well for people who are trying to subscribe to a la carte channels of the Z bouquet or Z group?
So I think that's what we've done with the pricing of the bouquet that I was talking about, which is our family pack, priced at 45 rupees, where we have bundled the channels that we believe offer great, which will be watched by people and offer great value to them, and it is at a discount versus the a la carte price. And that's what has already been factored in all our bundles that we have created.
And do you have any clarity on the discounting part of it? Because that's something which is a little bit unclear from the broadcasting point of view. And we understand TRAI has also approached the Supreme Court to get a clarity on that. The maximum amount of discount that can be put on a bouquet compared to the sum of the total of a la carte channels which are part of it.
See, our understanding is very clear that the amount of discounting is the choice of the broadcaster, and that is something that is in sync with the whole consumer-led pricing mechanism, that it's an open market operation. You have the power of choice and you have the power hence of the discount. The power of whether people will choose you for those prices is really the power of the consumer, and if you have priced yourself wrongly, then they are going to punish you. If you have priced yourself correctly, then they will reward you. So our understanding is clear that pricing, and that includes discounting, is the discretion of the broadcaster. Whether people choose or not is their discretion for that choice.
The reason I'm asking this is because the entire controversy is with respect to the TRAI tariff order, which talks about maximum discount allowed on a bouquet is 15% of the total value, as compared to the Madras High Court order, which does not put a cap on discounting. And because the Supreme Court order didn't mention anything on that, there's an ambiguity with respect to the kind of discounting. If Supreme Court in early 2019, when it looks at the special petition of TRAI, goes with what TRAI has to say, will you be looking at repricing of bouquet or channels again? Will all broadcasters be looking at the same way that you're looking at?
I think we are very clear that when we have priced our product post whatever discount we are giving, that is the fair price that we believe needs to be charged from our viewers. And we would leave the power of choice with them, which is the spirit of this order. We would, as a network, support the fact that we should retain the right of the discount. And as you said, this is something which the Madras High Court has already ruled, as far as our understanding goes, that the discount is something which is the privilege of the producer or the supplier. And we are expecting that to be withheld. As you said, it is something which TRAI has asked for a clarification, and we will await that, but our understanding is that the clarification has already been given.
Punit, I have two more questions, and those are specifically from a consumer's point of view. We've seen a trend of consumers looking at content cost on a monthly basis, and broadcasters are designing their bouquet accordingly. But we're also seeing a trend of more consumers going for OTT platforms like Netflix or a Prime or maybe Z5 for that matter. How do you think consumers are going to act now, because there is a content cost which is coming in on a monthly basis for them, and now that this flexibility of a la carte rates are coming, do you see the industry as a whole disrupting because of that?
I think I would give much more credit to our viewers in terms of what they want to spend their time and money on. Our reading on this has been, I use this phrase a lot in my business, which is more is more. We are seeing consumption growing on television, and we are seeing consumption growing on the digital platform, because our understanding of it is not about consumption in one platform versus the other. It is about the total pie of consumption of entertainment growing. There are different kind of consumer needs and different kinds of consumer segments who will find different platforms suitable for them at different points of time. And hence, we are very happy to see the overall content consumption pie growing. Our role as people who are providing content both on television as well as OTT platform, as you mentioned Z5 as our digital platform, our role is we need to be winning on television and winning through viewership share. We need to win on digital through viewership share. And the core competence that will come to bear is great content creation for the consumer need that we meet on those platforms. So we see this as I said, more is more, and we see both growing. We see revenues on both growing. We see subscription revenues as well growing. So we are very bullish on both going forward. And as the other phrase that we use, we see this as an and world.
Okay.
This and that both will grow.
No, I get that point, what you're saying, but my point is from more of a consumer cost point of view, because at the end of the day, he's going to shell out the money not only for the linear medium, but also for the digital medium. And as the younger generation is moving towards the digital medium, the cost per household for content is also something which will come into play. So how does broadcasters like you, handle that kind of situation?
So I think the first thing that we have to dispel as a notion is that there is a very linear comparison of baskets of purchase by category in households. Households have a certain outlay of money, and they are not comparing within category consumption. They're looking at the total outlay of consumption in various needs they have. Whether it is food, whether it's entertainment, whether it is education, there is a full outlay or a budget that they are operating with, and they have the flexibility to titrate one category versus the other based on whatever is their requirement. And that is where to say that if consumption grows in X on television, it grows, or in digital it grows, will there be a commensurate negative impact elsewhere? I think the consumer behavior will not be as linear and as simple. In fact, it will lead to a lot more complex consumer behavior, and therein lies the opportunity for broadcasters or digital platform players. I mean, I'll give you maybe not a direct example, but if we go back to the days when there was landline phones, people used them for conversation. Then came the regular mobile phones, and people used them for maybe messages and phone calls. And then came the smartphone, which people started using for a lot more. And it's just that the overall consumption or the need kept growing, and people have then titrated how much they want to pay for, say, the telephone service versus the TV service versus eating out and this, that, the other. So it is a much more complex behavior of consumers than a very direct, oh, I'm consuming more of content here and paying for more here, should I pay less there? I'm not seeing that play out at all.
Okay, but it is surely a challenging time for both for the broadcaster, the distributor, and for the consumer. It's a question of choice now. Thank you, Punit, joining us today for a discussion on this pricing, which is going to come up from December 29th. Thank you very much for joining us on Bloomberg Coin.
Thank you very much.